Pittsburgh Weiss Schwarz coming back at you again. This is Devin coming at you from Virginia. We got our regular suspects, Andy and Carmen.
What's up?
Help, I'm incarcerated. Please bail
Oh
me
no.
out.
And then we got Brian as well. Thank you for
I'm here.
joining us.
I'm here too.
Just to let you know, winter is coming.
Mm,
Watch out.
The Game of
it
Thrones
is.
joke.
It is the Weiss Schwarz.
Yep.
Go ahead, Andy.
Alright, we got the Weiss Schwarz. If you have 2 or more other remnant characters, this gets plus 2,000 power. When this card attacks, if you have this Pants Climax, and everybody is remnant character, reveal top 3 cards of your deck. Your opponent chooses 1 character or event from among them. It goes into your hand. You get to choose one of the 2 remaining cards, put it on top of your deck, and then the 3rd card goes to graveyard.
I'm gonna hit you with some shit right here.
What?
This combo is unplayable garbage without toilet.
Yeah, I don't think that's a hot take or anything. I think
No,
Okay.
yeah.
I remember this Weiss was one of the first cards that was like spoiled for RWBY, right? It was spoiled pretty early
Yeah,
on,
really early.
and everybody's like, "Oh, but, I wonder if they're gonna print Toilet event again."
Without toilet, this is garbage because okay, the Kamome combos, right? The ones that just reveal 2, those are not good. You play those for other reasons, like when you have to. And if you reveal a climax in there, right? Your opponent doesn't get to choose. You just take the card. And you get to mill the climax and you get to move on. And you get some deck speed out of it. Here, you reveal top 3. You reveal a climax and probably 2 clean cards at worst. Your opponent chooses between the worst of the 2 clean cards.
Gives you the worst one, yeah.
And then, you have to be like, oh, well, I guess I put this back on top. Or at least you can mill it all to mill 3 cards. You can choose to put nothing on top of your deck. Because you can choose up to 1 of the revealed cards. You can mill everything. And then blind the card you trigger. But then, you miss the entire point of the combo. Which was to plus and then trigger clean. But because your opponent can influence it, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
This combo just has nothing going for it other than being 6k cross turn. That is what it has going for
Okay,
it.
let's play devil's advocate here for a second. Even without Toilet,
Okay.
I feel
I'm
so
listening.
bad for all the newbies listening, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, "Why are they talking about toilets?" It's an event card from Bang Dream.
I'll go get it.
It's called Toilet. It is a good card that you pair with this, and it gives you free stock, basically.
I'm
and makes it
looking
really
for
good.
it. Hold on.
But anyway, just playing devil's advocate here, I guess. It's kind of like you mentioned earlier, Carmen. Maybe there's some deck speed issues with some of the other combos, and this is a nice. Yeah, there it is. We needed that, but with Weiss. What was I saying?
Feeling bad for new players. They didn't know what we were talking about.
Yeah, but after that, what was I saying? Oh yeah, it's like deck speed. Yeah, your opponent gets to choose for you, which is never good. But at least compared to the RWBY combo from the trial deck, this does not need a reverse. I think that's what they're kind of going for.
It doesn't need a reverse, and it keeps its power cross turn. The fact that this sits at 6k, you are a deck that has access to a 1/1 Leafa, and you can play some choice stuff. So maybe you can Sal 10th it back up to 8k and try to go for combo again with all the climax assurance in the set. But 2 back-to-back turns of this climax combo just feels not worth going for versus 1 turn of the RWBY combo. You mill out your deck, and if you draw another door, you have the Weiss ready to go, the 2/1. It just seems so much worse, even though you don't need a reverse.
I think it's just this is a double rare. The design building nowadays is reverse is bad, not reverse is good. I feel like everybody or a lot of people are really trapped into that mindset, maybe. But,
yeah.
Just because something is on reverse doesn't mean you should discount it. Or the fact that something like this is a double rare and
not
does
anymore.
not need reverse.
There's no AOT running around. You don't have to worry about reverse denial.
Well, not yet, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, not yet, but like even then,
Really depends on your meta. But like even looking within RWBY, compare this to the penny.
yeah, it's just worse than the penny.
You have similar deck speed to the penny combo.
You know what? I'm gonna hit you with some hot shit. The Cinder combo's better than this.
Probably, yeah, because at least the Cinder combo lets you play a unique strategy. Like you have other payoffs for playing a whole Cinder deck.
This is so unfortunate. I wish there was anything to go with this card. Because like this combo can be sick. Like with the toilet, this is sick. Like with that kind of effect. Like that's what makes that tie and Bang Dream playable. But without it, like it's garbage. You just can't get away with it. Like, and I'm a fucking like Kamome apologist. I'm a your opponent chooses combo apologist. I like advocate in another set in Summer Pockets for people to play a card that like your opponent has to choose because of like other benefits to the card. But this just has nothing.
I feel so bad for Bobby V. He literally got into
Weiss Schwarz
to play his Weiss waifu deck.
I mean, Weiss Schnee and Weiss Schwarz.
Sorry, Bobby.
Yeah, I feel bad also for a few of my other locals. Jared, shout out to him.
There are other Weiss cards that you can play. The 2-1's good.
Like, if you're playing a waifu deck, like I mean, having like a combo that's like a plussing on attack combo with your waifu on, it's good enough, probably.
Yeah, if you're just playing for the waifu, like if you're just playing for casual and you love Weiss, I'm not gonna say that you can't play this combo and do okay. It does have a good power line. You will get a card. You will likely get a clean trigger, which will go a long way in a casual setting to you winning a lot of games. You getting a card on attack and not triggering a climax when you don't want to, and having a big card in your front row in a casual setting will go a very long way for you to winning games. But like in a competitive setting, this card is like dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like just barely playable.
Unfortunate.
I wouldn't feel bad about pulling the SP though. I bet that's still going to be hella expensive.
That card
is one of the more popular characters.
Yeah,
for sure.
Weiss, the SP for this is really nice, as well as the climax art is really nice for the triple rare. I would not mind pulling one of the triple rares just to have in my binder. It's very cute. I think it's also the art that's on the sleeves in the supply set.
The group picture, yeah.
Yeah. I like that one a lot. All right, we can move on.
All right, we've got Blake Belladonna. Level 3, if you have 2 or less climax in your waiting room, it can early play at level 2, gets 1,000 power for each remnant character in your backstage, sits at 11k continuous if you've got a full back row. And on play, you can ditch a card, heal to stock.
This
seems pretty
card
good.
Slaps. It's MASH.
Oh, no, it's not an S, but I do like it a lot.
MASH is one of the best early play profiles in the game.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, 11k is a good power line. 2 or less conditions, fine.
I like it for standby because the set does have good payoffs for standby, and you don't have to like have a full field for it, which I always hate in standby decks. So the 2 or less condition, I actually
even if you're full 1k1, you can play this for 1 stock and then play the Nora for 2 to like break down if you're a 1k1 deck against a standby deck. But like there's some good synergy there. Like the only problem with this card is that this card is blue. And as we get through here, there are very few blue cards that you run in high counts that are not this card. There's just enough. It is just never a problem. It's very close.
Do you think maybe that is a merit to the Weiss combo at level 1?
I've thought about it, yes.
You settle for the Weiss combo just so the Blake's easier.
Just so the Blake's easier? I've thought about it, but you can get away without it. Especially if you're playing the TD combo, because you get 2 free extra blue for the Weiss.
Yep.
There are good blue cards. The blue cards that are good are very good. They just aren't cards that you run in high counts that aren't the Blake.
I see.
So, but the Blake's a great card. Like, MASH early play is a very good card. So,
I think there's a 3-2 between the Nora.
Yeah. All right, next card. We got Roman Torchwick. At the beginning of your Encore step, You may put one hijacking the control ship, which is this pants, into your waiting room. If you do, choose one character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. So you can only do one of it at the beginning of your encore step. And then he also has act, rest this, choose one of your characters. It gets 1,000 power cross turn. It gives some cross turn power to help you win board. Neo's in the background of the climax. That's the most relevant part of this combo.
Another set that I kind of wanted to try a similar combo like this too was actually 7 Deadly Sins, where you had the double combo at level 1 with the the Bond level 1 and level 3 combos.
Yeah, the Elaine combo.
Yeah, the Elaine and the Bond. And then you had your level 1 and 3 covered, so you had like an open climax to play with. And this like same combo existed in 7 Deadly Sins, but it was off of bar, and it tapped to give an extra 1,500 power instead of just 1,000.
But it gave it for turn.
It only gave it for turn. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is till the end of your opponent's turn. I see. You're right. Yeah. But at least the thing I liked about that other combo was, over the course of the game, the bars are going to flow into your hand naturally. It's like it seems like a really solid like incidental combo. Like if you already have like your 1 and 3 covered, and you just have a free climax to mess around with, like just being able to like turn every bar that comes into your hand into like a free salvage is kind of nice. But I just don't know if that works the same way with pants, because you kind of have to like actively sculpt to get your pants. It's not like bar that you just end up with.
You know my opinion on these combos. I think this is an insult of a rare slot. I think these combos are absolutely fucking unplayable.
This is a rare.
Yeah, I think
I think these add a climax to hand, slam it, and get a free plus while swinging for slightly higher numbers combos are interesting. I like to play around with them. I tried playing around with like the Emma.
Maybe if they were stock soul. Isn't the Emma stock soul? Yeah. Isn't the Emma, or no? The Emma's not a stock soul.
The Emma is.
No, I'm thinking of the new one in Superstar with that fucking the Shioko promo deck. Have y'all seen that? That shit's funny. Oh, there's a Shioko promo that you can play in any deck that is like going for $60 now.
Because, is it a good card?
No, it's a card that lets you clock yourself. Because there's a Sumire level 3 that like on play, if you have 6 clock, lets you like mill your opponent's bottom 3 and burn them in main phase. So like the game plan is you build a ton of stock. At level 3, you play down the Shioko, you like play over it and clock yourself infinitely until like you're at 3-6, and then you like play a Sumire after Sumire after Sumire after Sumire and like burn your opponent out for a bazillion. It's worse than Assault Lily at doing the exact same thing. It's just really funny.
That's cool.
But people love Live, so the Shioko that makes that deck work is going to insane amounts of money. Anyway, I think these combos are unplayable. I think that like you include a climax in your deck to do a meaningful thing, and like an incidental +1 is like absolute garbage because you can only do it once. It doesn't matter how many of this fucking level 0 you put in your deck. It doesn't matter how many of this climax that you like have.
True, but the point is you have like your brainstormer in your back row, then you have like another
No. I don't think that's a valid argument at all.
For.
I think it's what they're going for. I agree. I think that's not a valid argument for ever playing this card. You include climaxes in your deck to do meaningful things at meaningful levels of the game. And if you are playing this combo and you are playing this climax, you are literally punting an entire like half of your deck to garbage. It is unplayable shit. And that if you play this, you should just play a different deck. Like probably, straight up.
Yeah.
Like you should literally play another deck.
I think what I said before like still holds. Like I think the 7 Deadly Sins like they can maybe make it work.
I mean, sure, they have
but even that's
thing.
that's like pushing it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
This is just like
this is depressing.
You can't make this work now.
Yeah.
It's a shame. My favorite character.
Let's go look at a better.
I gotta give it to the F. That's not good.
Devin, go ahead. Or wait, right, no, are we back to... Yeah, it's Devin. Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. 00 James Ironwood. On when this card is placed on stage from hand, you may pitch a remnant character from your hand. If you do, draw a card, and you may pitch a card from your hand into waiting room. When this card is placed on stage from hand, you may pay the costs. If you do, reveal the top card of your deck and choose one level X or lower card in your waiting room and return it to hand. X is equal to the level of the revealed card.
Okay, double filter.
Double
It's power
filter.
crep Nino. It's the Nino filter without the Nino condition.
Oh, you're right. I like it.
This card's broken. In the context of a standby deck, this is one of the best filters you could be playing. It's different than Arisu. I don't want to say it's better. It's better in some situations. It's worse than others.
Yeah.
It's worse at pushing triggers. It's better at getting you more filter cards and like filtering your hand.
Yep. I think this is your blue fix to play the Blake.
Oh, 100%. That's about what I was going to say. Like, this is literally your go-to blue card. You run 2+ of this in literally every RWBY deck to fix for Blake. And you do not feel bad about it because most RWBY decks are playing standby in some capacity, and this is your standby filter. And it also pushes triggers. Card is just fucking good.
Also potentially get you into, because the draws card allows you to get your events too, potentially, if they're on top.
Yeah, it's extra trip into your events.
I think you play this over the Zwei. Like, I was gushing over the Zwei in the last video because it was a double filter, right, on one card.
This is costless.
And the Zwei is really, really good, but I think this James is a little bit better.
He's also just that blue card you don't feel bad about playing more than one of. It just helps you fix color so well. Alright, next.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Here's another card for your Cinder waifu deck. Mercury Black. All your other remnant characters get 500 power. And when your character's trigger check reveals a door, choose one of your characters and give it 2k for the turn. If you couldn't realize already, Carmen, this guy right here, Mercury, he's also part of Cinder's team.
Sure.
That's why they all work in the same deck.
Well, this card also sucks.
It's not great.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Not great. It's
thank-
the only way Cinder wins power. Wins power
Yeah,
overboard
only.
level 1.
Oh yeah,
That's the only way. Yeah.
2,000 on triggering a climax is pretty good, right?
Yeah, but you have to hit the trigger first.
It only works with Doors. Hanamaru gives 2k when you trigger any climax.
Well, we can't all be Hanamaru.
Can't all be Hanamaru.
We can't all be Hanamaru. We can't all be Zera. That's unfortunate. Why did this card do anything else?
It beats me.
Alright.
Alright, the joke paid off. Winter is here.
Is this her
45.
mom?
No, that's her sister.
No, that's the sister.
What the fuck? Whatever, go ahead.
When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, if you have another remnant character, gets 2k, gets to 6,500 for the turn. When this card attacks, if you have 2 or more other remnant characters and the character facing this card is level 2, this card gets 6k for the turn. I do think it's...
Need it.
Yeah,
hey! There's some more perfects!
I do think it's relevant that the set has this with the prevalence of standby. I do like these level 2 killer profiles quite a bit myself.
I'm liking them more and more as standby becomes more and more fucking annoying. Especially as Mushoku bears down upon us. That's like a dark cloud. Like 8 standby Mushoku just like running completely unchecked in English. Alright.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
Yeah, Winter's good.
3/2 Weiss Summoning. Assist. All of your remnant characters in front of this card get plus 2k. On play heal, and you can tap this, look at top 2, rearrange them.
Oh, this is nice.
Yeah, pretty good.
Nice
standby back row.
target. Ooh, nice. I like
target.
Looking at top 2, putting them back in any order. Nut.
Yeah, pretty good. It's also a healer.
If you have to play
An
from your
extra
hand
healer
later,
for your
yeah.
deck.
Makes
Just
it
durable
not
out the
shit.
game.
Yeah, it makes it not shit to play from hand. Yeah, I'm with Brian. I think it's like playable backer card.
Yeah,
Could be nice. Could pair nicely with the RWBY finisher, actually.
I mean, it's the card to
Um,
put behind the rubies, I think.
Well, I wasn't getting at that. I was getting at like playing it down from your hand and then like, or if you stand by it out of the, basically being able to take advantage of the look at top 2 effect. Because you can kind of like combine that with the money counter, and then you can kind of like set up for some like guaranteed cancels, right? Like your money counter is going to fog a lane. You look at your top 2 cards and make sure there's a climax there to cancel with. And if there's not, you maybe use like a mill tool to get through some of it.
It plays well into
re-roll
playing
it.
slow. I'm very sus on the RWBY combo working well with money counter as it stands.
Yeah, this is day one spitballing here. But
Yeah,
I
but
think,
it could work. Yeah,
whether or not money counter works, I think the Weiss could work nicely with the RWBY. Being able to like look at your top 2, see what you're working with, and then try to get it to a cancel. Because the RWBY doesn't actually build you. It doesn't like actually attack and change your top cards.
The RWBY doesn't change your top card. I
Well,
like that a lot.
Yeah,
actually.
if your opponent leaves a like direct lane with the RWBY, you can always just attack with it, and the top 2 rearrange. Like you can, if you get like 1 attack and 2 kicks, like you play down the Neo, right, and you have an attack, like you see like at a climax and a clean card, you just swing and then you have a cancel. Pretty nice. All right. Speaking of the Neo, we can move to the next card. Card's pretty dank.
It is Neapolitan, 3295. Pay 1 stock on placement on stage. Choose 1 climax in your waiting room. Return it to your hand, and you may pitch a remnant character from your hand to waiting room. Cards placed on stage from hand, you may pay cost. If you do, choose up 2 characters in your opponent's waiting room and put them on separate open positions of the stage. Yeah, no, this card's. I agree with Carmen. It slaps.
I lied. This card's the Mega Nut, dude. This card's the Mega Nut. You don't even need to run the Nora. I mean, you could run the Nora, or you could just run the Neapolitan.
I think if you're running,
I think you run Neapolitan.
I think if you're running the RWBY finisher, you play the Neapolitan. I think if you're playing anything else, you don't play the Neapolitan.
Probably
you
play the
Nora. Yeah. You
But
play
that
like
helps us
you
with
play
the
like
RWBY.
your climax assurance is like the climax swap plus one of these other things. Or like the Nora plus one of the other things. It depends. I think the Nora is probably better, but that's just me.
Actually, it also works with the Cinder that needs a reverse.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, it also does work
yeah,
with
you're
the Cinders.
right.
Yeah, it works for anything that needs a reverse.
Yeah, I like
For
it.
anyone watching the video at this point and not knowing like why that second effect is good, like why would you want to put characters on their field? 2 of the best finishers in the set are on reverse. You need to like have a reverse for the combo. You need something across from you. So
Also,
even if
a lot of
your
the
opponent
off
crashes out and leaves
finishers.
you reverses.
A lot of the off finishers also need reverse as well. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, it
And
gives
also you
options.
can do some weird shit with this too, right? Like if you want to set up side attacks,
Yeah.
you can like you don't have to just summon a weak shitter to the field, right? You can summon a level 0 and just like run it over easy. But you can also summon like
a level 1
or a level 2.
Yeah.
So you can get a side attack for precise damage without giving your opponent a chance to use a backup or a counter.
Yeah, the other thing you can do if your opponent's playing it is to pull out one of those level 0s with a drawback and make it so that they can't back up or event
Yeah.
those means as well.
Yeah, you can also do that.
Yeah, if they're running like a level 0 with a drawback like that.
Like a 4K.
Yeah,
That's
turn
nasty.
on their drawbacks, yeah.
Ooh. Brian,
Yeah,
that's sadistic.
The Neo is really, really good. I think if you're playing any of these cards that need reverses, you definitely play one of this card, and it's not a there's like not an argument. Like
I'm gonna give an A. Because Neo's such a cutie, she gets an A.
You like
we do
seriously,
like
like if you're playing the RWBY or the Cinder, one copy of this goes in your deck, and you just like you just live with that lost slot. Like this card has to exist in your deck because it's just it's an assurance card that other decks don't have. Like, when have we seen an assurance card like this? They were in Review because the set didn't work if you couldn't get a reverse
You
and
needed a
center.
lane, yeah.
And this is just like, yeah, just do whatever, right? Like, just do whatever. Oh, by the way, get your climax. Like, just all on one card. Card's great.
Yeah, I think this does more for this deck than the
Did
Actually,
the Nana did
Review.
for that deck, yeah. I agree.
Actually, there's in Konosuba, there's a whiz finisher off of I believe it's a pick 2 3K1.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, are you talking about Ice
The
Mage
re-
Wiz?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
First
restander,
Crystal
yep.
Prison, the best
Mhm.
climax
Yes.
combo
Oh
in
my
the set.
god, just kill
And I will
me.
die on the cross for. Thank you, Devin, for bringing that up. I
Kill
love
It's a,
that.
me.
it's a standard party.
End my life. Please kill me. Why did
Nah,
you
I was
have
gonna say my roommate Mark plays it all the time, so yeah, I'm very versed.
I love that combo. I think that's like such a good combo. No one else believes me.
Combo fucking sucks.
No, it doesn't.
You're a
It's good.
fucking idiot for playing it.
No, it's good. It's
No, you're
good
fuck-
damage push. It burns and then clock kicks or something, and then
Yeah, you
turns off.
Fumio your opponent. You
You can't
Oh,
you can't use
oh
abilities
my
at all. No,
god.
the card's sick. Wiz is sick.
Next fucking card. I'm not doing this on this video. Activist Childhood. Who is reading this?
It's good climax.
It's
Lord.
Andy. Go
read
ahead.
the Neo. Okay.
Me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what
Okay,
I do
yeah,
with
that's a
my
really,
kid.
really good climax
I
art.
send them out into the fucking anti-abortion fucking picket lines. What the fuck? What the fuck is going on? I never watched RWBY. What is this?
Well, it's like Brian mentioned it earlier. How like with the bunny girl, there's like discrimination against the animal people.
Oh yeah, Blake
She's
is
like-
a secret cat
She's
girl.
picketing.
Yeah.
She's picketing.
Blake is a secret cat girl. Yeah.
Not very secret. You see those ears?
He wears the bow most of the time to hide
She has,
it.
she has a mask. That's not Blake.
Oh, who is that?
Blake
Oh,
going
no.
undercover.
No, it's Block A.
Blocky.
Go ahead, Andy.
When you play the stage from your hand, look at top X. Choose a card from among them, put it into your hand. The rest go to waiting room. And then when you attack with this, if you have Activist Childhood, the pants in your climax area, look at 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck. Pick up to 2 of them, put them on top of their deck, and the rest to waiting room. 2 from the top of your deck, do the same thing. So you get a top check you and your opponent 2 each, and put them back on top or in the waiting room in any order for both players' decks.
That's a
We're free on
bad.
attack. It's like Mocha.
It's
yeah,
It is Mocha.
I think I don't think that's Blake. That is Mocha under that mask.
It's Mocha from Bang Dream. Oh, the singer from Bang Dream? From Africa?
Okay. I think this is a terrible first effect to pair with Mocha. Does anybody have like a retort to that? Or like
I think
Are they
Mocha. The
mostly in
reason Mocha,
agreement?
Get you
like,
into your climax.
like the draw for Mocha is that it's like a very stable. It's extremely stable.
Yes,
It's extremely like it heals. It's very conservative, right?
yeah,
heals for
in
you.
my mind, a stable combo shouldn't be paired with an unstable effect, such as top text X.
I think the top check. That's more for like aggressive. Like,
Yes, like aggro
Yeah,
things.
aggression,
Like
yeah.
Mhm.
what was the last top check X early play I played? Or top check X finisher I've played?
The most
Cheeky?
recent one that comes to mind is like
Cheeky, right?
like Jake from Adventure Time.
Yeah,
top
it's like
check X
it's
early
a
play,
top
yeah.
check X early play. Like the last one I've played is like Shiki in Summer Pockets, and that's not real. You wait until your opponent's already dead. That's like Omaiwa Shindaru shit. Like your opponent's already gone, and Shiki hits the board.
And like with the Mocha too, like the gold bar was already in your hand, so you didn't need like the heal effect was really a nice benefit. You didn't need to go digging for the climax.
It also
Gold bar,
like
you already
healed
had it.
over refresh, which was no other card could do at the time. Like
I mean, I guess looking at this, like, yeah, you can if you want, you can play it aggressively and like look at the top check yourself into like more copies of this or into the climax or whatever. And you can use it aggressively to like try to push damage by like clearing climaxes off the top of their deck and hoping
always
your attack
cancel on
sticks or whatever,
3.
right?
I always cancel
Yeah.
on 3 anyway.
Yeah, that's like the drawback of it.
Mm.
But I guess maybe the strength is it has like the utility to play as either or. It's like mid-rangey. John D. You can kind of like You can go aggro or conservative depending on like the situation.
I don't know, man. You're already
If
at
that makes
3.
any sense.
Game's over. I think this card's
I guess so, yeah.
I think this card's notable as the only top check X in the set. Like,
Oh, is it?
it's the only top check X in the entire set, and that's the
Cool.
only thing that it has going for it.
Yep. You
That's why
could
it's
slot
whatever.
it in as a one of. I'd rather not.
I don't
Yeah, I
think you
would
really
rather
need to
not.
though. Do you really need the top check X when you have such good
Neo?
climax
Like
searchers?
Nora,
You just have climax
yeah.
tutors.
When you
Nora,
just have
Neo,
tutors.
no.
Nora, Nia, swap. I think you're fine.
But if you're playing just a straight Blake waifu, I think this seems perfectly doable, perfectly fine.
Blake
Yeah,
doesn't have a level 1
Mocha's
combo,
a
to my
fine
knowledge,
combo. Yeah.
You just play the Atom.
though.
There's your level
Sure.
1 combo.
Play the ex-boyfriend. Go
It's
for it.
even flavorful, yeah.
Yeah,
OTP.
Adam Taurus is the ex-boyfriend for Blake.
Yeah, you have your Atom
Super
Blake
abusive guy.
OTP deck. There you go. I solved it.
Perfect.
All right. Next.
Every Blake fan out there seething after hearing that.
Wild.
Whose card is this?
Brian, right?
Yeah.
This Weiss, yeah. Level 0. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, you may discard a climax. If you do, salvage a character. Second effect, this ability activates up to 2 times per turn. When your other remnant character is placed on the stage from your hand, this card gains 1,000 power until the end of the turn. So it is a ditch climax salvage that can get to 3,500 if you play 2 other characters.
An Assault Lily card.
It's very... Ditch climax salvage is good. Second effect is very whatever.
It's fine. The second effect has like some really good early game synergy when you're flooding, because it gives you like a card to win board when you're stuck at 0, or like try to at least tie shit. But like that's it. It's just a slightly better ditch climax salvage.
Works better with functional pants or bar.
Yeah.
It's usually a one of.
All right, next. Blake
Blake is
focusing
gone.
her sights. It is a level X, and it has Act. Pay 1 ditch climax. Choose a character in your waiting room. Return it to your hand. Repeatable. You don't have to rest it or anything. You just keep doing it.
I do like that.
It is a good consistency effect. I think you have better supports in most builds that want to run supports.
Yeah.
But I think this card's fine. I agree with you, Brian.
If you're playing heavy on like pants or something that adds a lot of climaxes to your hand, maybe this is relevant. I think it's a cool effect. I like it a lot. And if you're playing a build that needs it, it's here.
You can standby. I like it. Just like I always like 1/1 assists in standby decks because it's like if you just happenstance trigger like a standby, it's something that you can have like come onto line earlier, and then once you hit level 3, you don't have to like set up. You don't necessarily have to set up a like assist in your back row as much. You can kind of like focus on your other level 3s if that makes sense. Because you already got the back row covered. You can like you don't have to worry about throwing like a Weiss assist into your back row. You can just go straight for the Nora that pumps power.
Mm-hmm.
And just like keep building that power. I'm a fan.
All right, next.
All right.
Devin?
1/1 Neptune Vasilis. When this card is placed on stage from hand, you may choose one of your remnant characters, and that character gets 1,500 power until end of turn. And it is a bottom deck Adachi.
Card slaps.
You like hard removal Adachi, yeah.
Label card, absolutely, yeah.
Seems good to me.
Gives 1,500's nice. Very on point with the rest of the set, pumping power on turn.
Yeah, has good synergy if say you're playing against Kaguya, and like your opponent plays a fucking president, and you have like a RWBY and a Weiss in hand, and like the combo. You play the RWBY, you play the Weiss, you play this, you pump something else, you get the first reverse, you bottom deck the president, you kill everything else on their board, then the Kaguya player cries. It's like pretty good in that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Very worth.
All right, next, back to Andy.
We got the Jacques Schnee. When you use this card's backup, choose one of your characters in battle, and that character gets the following ability. When this card's battle opponent gets reversed, put in memory. It is a 3k memory kick backup. Very nice. I'm a big fan of the memory kick counters. If your opponent has anything that like needs to stay on board to resolve its effect, like take one of the like the RWBY or the Weiss off finishers, and that we've seen in the set already, where it's like end of this card's attack, burn your opponent or something. You know, you remove the character from the field before that would kick, so that's nice. And there's like other relevant finishers that had to like stay on board to get their burn effect.
Voice Kurami has to stay on board.
In English, you have Finn and Jake. You said Kurami, right?
The new Kurami from Data Bullet, has to stay on board.
Yeah. In JP, you have like Nijigasaki.
Yep.
The big tuna. So.
Yeah, memory kick's good. Slime, that's the big one. The Reamer.
Oh yeah, Slime also with a stupid 8-choice deck.
It stops the fucking onslaught of infinite Reamer. As like, I don't know, in a big tournament, I feel like you'll see 8-choice Slime in like the first half of the Swiss rounds, but as the first, like if you continue to win in your XO, you should not see Slime past the first, like 8-choice Slime past the first half of the tournament. That deck is like unbelievably inconsistent due to its lack of first deck mill. It loses a lot of games due to like the inability to mill out. But like it's still something to keep in mind because it's cheap. Like 8 choices cheap comparatively to other decks. Yeah.
It brings up a talking point though. Like we were talking in the in red about the free fresh counter or free fresh counter overrated. Yeah. And I think like for me personally, the two like types of level 2 counters that I would most want to play in my deck would be a free fresh or a
memory kick. Yeah, I can agree.
And I'm wondering like what your guys' opinions are on this. Like how do you think you split it? Do you go 1-1?
1-1.
If I have the space, yeah.
Do you just like value the free fresh so much you go 2-0, or like what if you only have room for one spot? What if you only have like room for one level 2 counter? Like
if I have room for only one, I would play free fresh just because I'm a snake bitten player who gets in terrible situations too often and has to fix myself from them. But that's just me. Another thing to consider, anti-change counter for big events. Anti-change counters are hard skill checks that will win you games.
Mm-hmm.
People will fall on anti-change counters at regionals more than you'll ever think. Like we're pretty far into the set review. I can say something like this. If you're going to a regional and you're intending to win that regional and you're sitting there in Swiss and you're playing a certain kind of deck, maybe your deck isn't like the super best, but you're ride or dying it, or at something, it's like a rogue deck, something that you believe, something that you will win games off of is like just raw anti-change counter. I know Yue is a big proponent of that. Like he'll be like, yeah, it's just like the way I like to play the game. I like to include anti-change counter. It's a hard skill check. It like just wins games. Like you money counter somebody at 2, they just can't recover. And if the game is like going normally, that is true. So like anti-change counter for like regional events is like more of a consideration.
Like, even with like skilled players, like these tournament, that long grindy tournament like mentality, like the grind set, right? The tournament grind set is like it's draining. Like probably the most exhausting thing I could do with my day is like play a card tournament. Like
it's
like
fucking
anytime
exhausting.
I go to like Magic or Weiss regionals or anything, and it's like I get done for the day. Like after playing 8 or 9 rounds, it's like I'm fucking exhausted.
You're exhausted.
Yeah, all you want to do is drink yourself to sleep. Like after that shit.
But like seriously, it's like really mentally draining. And Weiss especially is a game where if you're trying to play at that top level. Like if you want to play at like the beginner level and just turn cards sideways, you can get away with it. But like at the top level where there's like a million things to think about every turn. Riaz said it earlier in the set review, I think in the trial deck or the color he was on, where he said like you got to have like your stats down. You got to have your statistics down. You got to like run the odds. It's an odds game, and that's like a lot to think about. There's so many different branching like lines of play on each turn.
Yeah, all the tracking and calculating will just
like even the most skilled players can get lost in the sauce. You know what I mean? You can get lost in the sauce and just
eat it to an ACC.
There's so many other things I'm thinking about on my turn. Like I feel like I'm pretty good about playing around like anti-change counters and stuff, but there's sometimes I'll just like play right into. I did it against you the one time, Carmen. Like you showed just like a couple weeks ago or something. You like took an anti-change counter. Or you took. I was
playing like Prillia or something. Yeah, it's like I took it and then you were just like front with a level 1 first, and I was like, oh, sorry, Andy, and I just like threw it down.
Yeah. Well, I think part of that was me not knowing like the matchup, not knowing the set as well. But regardless, it's like.
It happens, yeah. It happens.
Before, like I could have just like forgot about it. Like there's a lot to think about.
It's like a whole thing. Like you gotta like your defensive counters are like you're really hedging what you expect to see, and like what you expect to be able to exploit with your defensive counters. Like the free fresh counter is the safe bet, right? Because all things considered, it helps you. Any game can be going
bad for you. A free fresh could be useful in any matchup, in any scenario. Something like a memory counter like this is going to be very matchup dependent.
Very contextual, yeah.
It could be like a much bigger deal than a free fresh counter, or it could just be a 3K backup.
Yeah, it's all dependent. That's a good topic for another video. It's like what is it? The free fresh counter video, the money counter video, the counter video.
We just do a counter video, yeah.
The defensive counter video, yeah.
The definitive counter video.
Slap like if you want a definitive counter video. All right, next.
This is you, Brian.
Okay. We've got 2/2 Mercury Scouted. This card gets 1,000 power for each of your other remnant characters, so it gets to 10/5. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, if you have 4 or more other remnant characters, you can choose a remnant character in your waiting room and put it into your stock. So it's a 10/5 standby target that if you have to play from hand, it plays for 1 stock.
I don't think even the Cinder Purist decks will even sleeve this card up. This is like
it's not very good.
Worst fucking card ever.
Not fantastic.
I don't think it's completely unplayable, but it's not good. It's
I agree.
Bad.
I agree with that. Yep.
I think it's pretty fucking shit.
Because I mean, you gotta think like even in like a Cinder deck that's trying to keep on theme with like.
Yeah, it just doesn't do anything.
Even if you're playing a more theme focused deck, right? If you're running this in like the Cinder deck,
well,
like,
even
how
in
are
a Cinder deck, it's like this card is fucking themeless. Yeah, it's fucking themeless. It's just a fucking card. This is like a fucking Bushiroad pack filler. Unfortunate. All right, James, half cyborg. On play, look it up to 3. Put them on the top of your deck in any order. Choose one of your opponent's characters, bounce it. And then on attack, choose one of your characters, and it gets plus X. X is equal to the number of characters you have times 500, including itself, so 2,500 max. It is King from Slime, but without the Soul Pump effect. I think the Soul Pump effect would really made King like an effective off finisher. The bounce is good. The Dirtle potential is good. Because the first effect is a Dirtle effect. If RWBY is like ends up becoming like a defensive dirtly deck at the top, this card could be amazing. If it doesn't, this card is fucking useless. So it's completely dependent on how the set ends up building up. But I don't think it's a bad card. I think Devin's right. I think it's like right there. Definitely a good card.
Yeah, I mean the bounce is always relevant.
Yep. If you're running blue and you're hard up to play something else and you really need to get threats off a board, I think it's something that you can use to force your opponent to waste resources.
Yeah, being able to set your top triggers is just really good. It gives you a lot of information. All right, next card. Devin, go ahead.
Oh boy. Uniform Blake. At the beginning of your climax phase, choose one of your remnant characters, and that character gets 1,000 power until end of turn. And then it is a spammable brainstorm. Pay once, flip 4, hit a climax, grab a character from your deck, reveal, add to hand, and pitch a card. Yeah, 8 standby. This slaps.
Yeah, this is I think you play this in every RWBY deck actually. I said this before. I think your go-to brainstorm lineup for every RWBY deck is 2 Nora salvage brainstorm, self-tap, 1 Blake spammable.
Why do you
Seems
think
fair,
you? What's your reasoning for that? Why do you think you split it like that?
I think that RWBY is a modern of enough deck where your primary brainstorm can be a 2 of. And then when you have the Blake, or you can get the Blake gives you just like repeatable like main phase deck speed as well as Entomb for standby cards.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much every RWBY deck is playing standby in some way, I think. I think you're either playing RWBY top end or you're playing Pyra and like the quote unquote meta decks. So it gives you Entomb, it gives you main phase deck speed, and it also just gives you deck access, whereas otherwise you're all salvage.
So you consider it more like a tech card?
Yeah, you only play it as a 1 of, but it is part of your 3 brainstormer lineup. Because I think even if you had to operate on you only have the Blake for that game, I think you'd actually be fine with the way the decks play out.
I mean, yeah, you would.
Also,
good enough plussing engines.
The plus 1,000 is just a really good effect. Like every turn plus
It
1,000.
happens every turn automatically.
It's a really good effect at 0 too. If you happen to open it, like if you happen to open it and it chills on your board all game and it gets clean cut, like
that's fine.
You're not like upset about it at all. Like the card's just really good.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was kind of interested to hear your thought on that because like the only time I've ever really played with a spammable brainstorm, and like ever really feeling like I liked it was in SAO, like old school Sword Art Online before they had the Rest 1 brainstorm. And it kind of played it out of like necessity. Kaguya as well, yeah, but that you had like your resonate tool as like a milling brainstorming sort of effect.
I think
but Sound didn't have that at all. So
as a hybrid standby deck, when you're playing hybrid standby, I believe like these search brainstorms as Entomb enablers, where like they not only mill, but like you're milling 4. So in a standby deck, right? Like milling 4 to like put targets in grave if you trigger standby, if you can do it, is a normal play. And then the upside being, if I hit a climax, I put exactly the right card in my bin. I just entomb the card, like, to bin. It's just a foolish burial.
Yeah.
Like, that's, like, really good. And, like, as I've played, keep bringing it up. The more I play 8 Standby Mushoku, where they play the blue Roxy event just to entomb cards from deck a lot of the time, it's, like, really good in standby decks. So I'm like pretty biased at this point towards this kind of effect in a standby deck between like Kaguya and Mushoku.
Yeah, I mean anything to bump up the consistency just makes a deck, some factor better. Just for the sake of having exactly what you want when you need it.
It's also just extra blue.
That is true also, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I'd say it's a 2/2, especially in 8 standby, but yeah. Nope. Again, still solid profile. Fixed for blue.
Alright, next card.
Alright, we got Neptune Vital Festival. Marker under him, he gets plus 2,000 power, and when you play him, you're going to reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a remnant character, you may put it face down underneath this card. You want to give the spiel, Carmen?
It's fine. This is a profile called Futaba. They stopped printing level 1 Futabas, and they started printing these. You don't have to marker the card. When you play this as your plussing 0, you get 5-card brainstorms, you get top checks, you get top information. You can finesse this card as much as you want to like give you extra utility later in the game. Whereas a normal 4K would do jack shit nothing and just be a dead card later. So it is better as a 4K, if you're going to play a 4K, than a standard 4K. However, we talked about 4Ks earlier. The TD thing, I think that if your card is static, it's basically dead at 0 these days because everything that is playing clean cut pumps so much power. They can just kill your card anyway. It's actually pretty frustrating. The only deck where I felt like my level 0 big bodies lived was 8 Wind Alice, where I play a global 1000 back row. So I play this exact same card, but with that global 1000 back row, this is a 5K, and that's the only time my Futabas live. And my opponents can like easily hit 4 or 5. It's like actually really frustrating in the current meta. But like I agree with the rest of you. The card's fine.
Yeah, I mean maybe it's time for the Circle of Life to come back around and for bombs to become the level
maybe
preference again.
I don't know. It's just like well no, it's like something's gotta. It's like runners. Like now the Neon Cats and the RWBY PRs are like the kings, right? Because they dunk the runners because the runners are beating on the clean cuts. But no one's going to stop playing clean cut because someone's going to play a card that can't run eventually. And then the second they see a card that can't run eventually, they go, oh, well, I guess I +1 an attack 3 times.
It probably depends more like what format you're playing into, right? Like if you're playing mixed or if you're playing into like a WGP or like a JP tournament where you have something like Kaguya, right? That's like one of the biggest decks that uses clean cuts right now.
But it's English now.
Now they're on like a restriction list. I think didn't Symphogear have a clean cut also? Now that's on a restricted list.
The clean cut isn't on the restriction list in Symphogear, but it's only a 3K clean cut. So they do have a lot of pumps, but like it's still not.
But like regardless, it's all like this stuff will come and go in waves.
Yeah, I mean it'll all come back around, right? You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, we can move on. This is a vanilla. No one has to waste their turn. We can skip to the next one.
3K old man.
So he does have synergy with an event that comes up later.
Yeah, so just remember that the shopkeep is a 3K vanilla.
Okay.
Who is next? Brian?
I believe this is me. We've got this 1/0 blue Nolan Porfirio. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, choose one of your opponent's characters, and that character gains the following ability until the end of your opponent's next turn. This card cannot move to another position of the stage. When this card becomes reversed, if the card's battle opponent is cost 0 or lower, you may bottom deck it. It's Nolan the Trapper. Unfortunately, he is a cost bomb in a likely going to be standby dominated meta with Mushoku coming. We do keep bringing it up.
It also
Marcus
doesn't
the Trapper
deny...
a level 0?
And Marcus also denied memory. This only denies moving. Yeah. So it's worse. I don't like it. I'm going to be honest.
Not fantastic, yeah.
The effects kind of pair poorly with one another, I think, too. I like the card can't move to another position effect to lock down opponent standbys. So if your opponent like standbys a big 2/2 to their back row, you can like lock it in place for a turn so they can't advance it to hit you with it. But then being a cost bomb kind of like conflicts with that. I'd rather it be like a level bomb because like, this can't contest the 1/1s. Real sad boy hours.
Indeed.
All right, next.
Moving on.
Bolin Hori. When this is played from the stage from your hand, it gets X power. X is equal to the number of remnant characters you have times 1,000. So it can be a 12K. Counts himself. When this card's level 2 or higher battle opponent becomes reversed, you may pay 1. If you do, start your deck for a character revealed to your hand. Reveal to your opponent, put it in your hand, shuffle your deck. It's like the Hot for Teacher Mega Man, except worse.
Yep.
It's a lot worse. Well, okay, the search your deck is different. The 12K, it's not as good because the other one was just plus 6K, right?
I believe so. It had to be swinging against the level 3 to get the power, though.
The card is also not called Hot for Teacher Mega Man. I just can't remember the actual
It's calling for Teacher Mega Man.
Calling for Teacher, sure.
Yeah.
We just always thought it was like, oh, that's Hot for Teacher Mega Man because of the song. Yeah, I don't know.
Who the fuck is Bolin? He's such a monarch. He doesn't even have flavor text.
No.
Well, one of the other students from the tournament, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, he was part of the Arslan team.
I don't think it's as good. Only hitting 12K is kind of shit. Even if you can challenge 2/2s, I don't think the search is like good enough.
Wait, are they on the
Yeah.
same team, Nolan and Bolin? No, they're
Yep.
not.
Wait, no.
No, the other one's on BRNZ. This one's on ABRN. Auburn.
Yeah. It's a case if this got more power, was an actual striker, it'd actually be fine. Yeah, 12k at 2-1. Yeah, that's not going to hang over anything because they're going to be throwing counters on this.
Yeah, it's not gonna matter. All right, next.
Okay.
You go ahead.
So we got this uniform Weiss. Card gets 500 power for each other remnant character in your backstage, so up to 8k. When this card attacks, if the character facing this card is level 3 or higher, this gets 6,000 power until end of turn. So that's like the Meliodas, right?
14k.
15k. Oh no.
Bigger than they normally are, right?
Yep.
Normally
Yeah.
13.
Meliodas Kunsatic. That's what that card was. Yeah, no, it's strictly better.
Yeah, card's good. Give it a
13, 15. That's actually. Oh, hold up. That's actually a relevant number. That actually gets over Shirogane, right?
no, it's
Shirogane gets to
14k.
14.5.
He's
Nope.
14.5.
This gets to 15.
No,
It gets
it's
to
Oh, wait.
14.
Oh, I thought it was each other character. Period.
No,
Also,
Oh.
Shirogane is going to be 15.5 unless your opponent's an actual monkey.
Well, there's a lot of power pump in the set, so
Yeah,
it
you can
does
get
become a
there.
little bit more relevant.
You
can get there.
can maybe actually get over Shirogane with this. It's like actually maybe a little bit relevant. Like
Potentially relevant, yeah.
instead of using like a normal anti-change bomb that he can clock kick.
Yeah, you can do a what is it? It's 14. You play a single clean cut. It hits. You bump it to 16. You swing over. 15.5.
Oh,
It
my
can't back
goodness.
up.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
You swing with this Weiss. You kill Shirogane. You clean cut something else. You pull this Weiss back. You do it again
Wild.
next turn.
I mean, if you're well,
What?
you have a back row, so it wouldn't be bigger because you'd be clean cutting it back. Also,
You're giving it 2,000. Okay.
well, okay.
It's at like
Andy.
if it's at 13.5, you put it up to 15.
Okay, Andy, that means your clean
what?
cut's 1,500 power. What are you reversing with 1,500 power?
Something shit. I don't know.
Okay, I'm just highlighting the flaws. It's who I am. I'm sorry.
Bro, let me get hype.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, last blue card.
Ooh, we got a spicy event card here. Dust. It's like mana rocks in their world, Carmen.
Okay.
Choose
How
one
they
of
can do magic and such.
Yeah. Choose one of your following effects and perform it. You can put 2 cards from your stock into waiting room. If you do, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Choose 2 remnant characters from among them. Reveal it. Put them in your hand. Or you can discard a shopkeep instead of paying that 2 stock. Look at 5 cards. Choose 2 remnants. Add them to hand.
There it is.
So, and there's actually a card like this in Memory Snow. It's like the stupid flat place puck statue card. I think it also works off of vanilla.
It's pretty
You know what I'm
bad.
talking about? Yeah, then that wasn't good enough to play. And Memory Snow was pretty scuffed.
This is bad.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it's very good. And I'm a proponent for running vanilla 3Ks if the payoff's good enough, but
Do love vanilla 3Ks, but
this
unfortunately,
ain't it.
All right.
Cool flavor though. F for flavor.
Promo lightning round. If you get the supply sets, you could have a chance to get these cards in foil. They have close-ups of the characters' faces in a weird art style. Anyway, Yang, Team RWBY. During your turn, this gets 1,000 power for each of your other remnant characters, so it is possibly a 12/5. And then when this card is placed on the stage from your hand, choose one of your opponent's characters in the center stage. It gets 1,000 power till the end of your opponent's next turn.
It's a drawback, but I mean she's swinging for 12-5, so no.
You'd hope
yeah,
not.
it's-
I mean, like, it can challenge standby cards. 12-5 is like
so can that
10-5.
Weiss from earlier. So's that
Okay.
big Weiss, right?
Well, but that's level 3s. This is 12-5. Okay, wait. 12-5 is actually a sweet spot. 10-5s plus a 2k counter. That's like actually a relevant threshold. It's probably a D+. It's probably bad. Devin's probably right. But like that is a relevant threshold.
Yeah, probably doesn't see play, but maybe it'll get there. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. With cross turn power.
RWBY, Team RWBY. This card cannot side attack. If you do not have another character, it gets +1 level and 1500 power. It's 4500 level 1 if it's alone.
It gets to live.
Cards suck.
You have so many other good level 0s, plussing level 0s in this set. You don't need this.
Yeah,
This
it's cool though.
it has the best art.
It is handsome.
Run it, Yep.
C for
D+
cool.
for good art. Okay, Weiss, Team RWBY. This card is placed on the stage from your hand. It gets 1500 power. It's 3500. On reverse, if you have a climax in your climax area, you blind stock. This is the only blind stalker in the set. Don't you dare start saying that you should buff this with the Jean and get there.
I mean,
Don't
you
you fucking dare.
I wasn't going to say about the
Shut
Jean,
the
but
fuck up.
Well, no. Hear me out. Bluefix. As far as Bluefix goes,
This is pretty bad, dude.
Card's not horrible.
it's not horrible.
No,
You
no,
can use some
no.
extra stock.
Level 0 blind stocks are bad.
Oh my god.
Especially ones that need a climax.
It's 3 fucking stock, dude, and it's blue.
Oh, it needs a climax. Ugh.
You don't need any more blue fix. You have
But
enough.
it's blue.
You have enough.
Yeah.
3 Blakes,
Blue.
2 Ironwood, one Blake fucking Brainstorm, and 1 Adachi. You're done.
It's blue.
It's
So
pretty shit.
pretty shit. I would play devil's advocate, but I'm running
Go
out
ahead.
of time.
Yeah, what's Devil's Advocate? Go ahead. Do whatever you want.
So I actually am a big fan of the Aqua PR from Konosuba. 3K can't everything else can't side, and then if you have a climax, you can blind stock if you reverse something with it. I think it was totally fine, especially when you're looking at running. It was the choose 2 3K level 1 combo from set 2, where you get to on reverse with the Aqua. It's 5K. You obviously pump it to 6K, 8K. You pay 1 stock. You check up to 3 or 4 cards off the top of your deck. Choose any adventurer, cultist, or magic characters, and just add them to hand. You just slam that, and since you're playing Pants in that deck, you just play it down. Play the 3K1 plus a bunch. Add a bunch of stock, and then you don't care if it lives or dies next turn. And then you get to play Pants, recur it, play for your level 1 combo as well. But
I can dig that. Yeah, that makes your combo free there. Like, if you can pump these enough, like, if you have, like, a 3K1 or something that you can, like...
Mhm.
But this
really,
set does
like,
not.
yeah, but
I
this
mean,
set does not.
This set doesn't have, like, a big... Like,
Andy, you'd have to spend
hit
so
the
many
button
cards.
3K, but there's so many cards that will, like, pump.
You'd have to
2,000
spend
on
so
play.
many cards to get 1 stock. You'd have to spend like. Okay, wait. Okay, maybe because
I'll
of
just
the,
let you talk
the way
yourself into
the
it.
way the trial deck combo works. Maybe you can just have so many cards that you can burn so many cards to pump this to get stock that it doesn't matter. Maybe, but I doubt it.
Probably not.
Okay, next. Blake. It's a Shimakai.
Okay.
That's it. Next card. Blake and
Nice.
Yang, new uniforms. When this card attacks, if all your characters are remnants, so if you're playing a legal fucking RWBY deck, look at the top 2 cards of your deck. Choose a card from among them, put it on top of your deck for the rest of your rating rooms. Choose your trigger. Then it is a level 0 bottom deck bomb. This is a tournament
That's fine.
PR.
It's blue.
It is blue.
Blue. It's
I would
playable.
play Ironwood over this. Card's
Probably,
just
yeah.
okay. It's like kind
But
of
it's,
shit.
yeah, it's fine. It's whatever.
Like
Choose your trigger's kind of cool. Bomb is nice. I
yeah,
guess.
choose your triggers. Better, not D+. It's better. Okay, that's it. That's RWBY. We're
We
done.
did it.
We're done.
God there.
I said it at the beginning of the set review. Thank you all for 1,000 subscribers. I never thought we would get here. It's absolutely fucking insane. Neither myself nor Brian nor Andy ever thought we would get here, and we are unbelievably appreciative to have made it. We could not have done it without you guys. And we're gonna continue doing cool stuff. We're gonna continue making content. We can do some cool stuff with our locals now that we're at 1,000 subs. After we get a decent buffer, like 10, 15 subscribers, start doing our locals, streaming to YouTube. I have to set that up. I need to make a portable setup, but I can do it with my GoPro and stream off my phone.
Oh boy, the camera.
Yeah, the camera's back.
I'm
Brian.
to bring the tripod back.
You're Bane.
I cannot win on camera for my life.
Brian cannot win on camera. He's cursed. But yeah, so we can finally do that. That's something that's locked behind a 1,000 subscriber wall. So we're happy that we can finally do that. Thank you everyone. We can't thank you enough. Super insane, super crazy. We're gonna keep making great content for everybody. In terms of upcoming content, I think I talked myself over the course of this of doing a video on counters, video on refresh counter, video on backup, anti-change counter.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to loop that all into one video or if we want to do separate videos on how to manage each type of counter, do a whole series on it. I don't know.
That'd be fun.
I think one big counter video would be sweet.
One big counter video would be good because we still have to do rush rundowns. We have to get back to those.
Mm-hmm.
So many things to do. Now that Springfest has been announced, we will be going to multiple Springfests across the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see us there, definitely reach out. And that'll be sick. Let us know if you're going. We'll let you know what one we're going to. And that'll be awesome.
As far as set reviews go, are we caught up on those?
We are completely caught up. They didn't announce anything that we don't already know, correct? I will spot check the website. I think we are actually completely ahead of the game. So
no set reviews until Attack on Titan final season?
In
the summer?
Camelot?
Or Tokyo Revengers.
Camelot? Are we getting that in English?
Fate Camelot.
Yeah, Fate Camelot we have to do, yeah.
Fate Camelot and Revengers, yeah.
And Tokyo Revengers.
Fate Camelot we can do. That one's already out. I have to pull that and make that. I actually completely forgot about FGO.
Apologies for making you
guys
guys
work.
Yeah, we don't need to do back to back with RWBY.
Please.
We can take a break.
Please no more set reviews.
Oh, keep an eye out for RWBY deck tech. I'm sure
I'm sure we're all going to be tested.
All three of us have it. Yeah.
Maybe we can make a multi deck tech.
Yeah, we do like the multi deck techs.
Yeah, we can probably do something like that. I know I've been brewing quite a bit. Before we get out of here, Devin, do you have any shout outs? The floor is yours.
Oh man. Just shout out to my Virginia community. Y'all are fantastic. Y'all are great. Shout outs to Chris Kaufman, Nick Dobbs, Wesley So. Thanks for getting me into the game and giving me more information back in 2019 first started, getting me on the train to be at this location. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you to everybody that comes out to Virginia and plays. Shout out to Ileana for coming out for our waifu event. And a Big Moist for coming on down, spending the night here, sampling the chili.
Oh god,
it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, Matt did come on down, huh? We're sorry. Well, we apologize for Matt.
Nah, it was good. It's good.
All right, as long as you enjoy it, as long as you also enjoy it, because we enjoy Matt. But it's Matt. We love him. All right. What else? Oh, I want to shout out Weiss Fight. If you want to try out RWBY, Weiss Fight is out on RWBY. RWBY is out on Weiss Fight. Jeez. You guys
Worked
can
hard. Make
decks on Encore decks, shove those into Weiss Fight, play with people around the world, try it before you even get your cards. That's not out, but by the time this video goes live, that will be out.
Yeah, this last one.
But is what it is. Definitely check out Weiss Fight. If you want to support Weiss Fight, there's a Patreon. There's also a Discord where you can leave your feedback. You can play with people all over the world right in your browser without having to buy anything or set anything up. You just hop on Encore Decks, grab a link, shove it into Weiss Fight, and then you're playing people from all over the world for free. It works a lot like Dueling Book, if you're familiar with that. Definitely a good way to jump into Weiss if you're still learning. like that. There are people in the Discord who will help you out.
But
Also,
my
definitely give that a
tabletop
look.
simulator.
Fuck Tabletop Simulator. Tabletop Simulator fucking sucks. Can't believe people still use
Costs
Tabletop Simulator.
money.
Yeah, it costs money. It runs like garbage, especially if you don't have a Windows machine. If you have a Mac, you literally can't fucking use it. Your computer fucking explodes.
You can't play other board games on Weiss Fight, though.
Yeah, true. You can't play the best board game, Dune.
Pokemon Master Trainer.
Oh my god, no, it's the worst game ever. All right, that's it. Pittsburgh Weiss Schwarz signing off. We'll see you guys in the next one.
See ya.